Remember opening night?
Yeah, right.
Remember like going to theater?
Yeah, I know. Not really, honestly. It's been a minute.
Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. It's September 21st. I'm here with the great Corey Cott.
Oh, that's kind.
You have a TV show that premieres tonight, Corey Cott.
I do indeed.
It's on Fox. It's exciting. It's a fun show.
It is. That is a great word for it. Maybe the best word for it.
And I hate describing something as fun because, you know, like when you're like doing theater and you're like, oh, that was fun.
Or when they're like, there was just like, oh, that was so fun.
Right.
Or like, oh, that was such a cute show. It's
like,
right. I mean, I literally sweated and bled on the stage for 2.5 hours. But yeah, sure, fun is fine. No, fun is the most appropriate and like I said, the best word for this show. Yeah. Delicious is the word that they've been telling us to say a lot.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah.
It is correct me if I get this wrong in any permutation.
Yeah.
It's a show about a family that runs a Christian TV network.
Yes.
And a lot of stuff happens. It's a soap opera.
Yeah, it's a fun soap opera. I guess that sort of encapsulates everything. But yeah, it's the Monroe family, Monreaux, because it's you know, New Orleans French. It's based in New Orleans. My mom and dad, I play their son, obviously. They run a very successful Christian TV network, kind of like in the vein of Oprah, but you know, a Christian version of that. And it's on the cusp of launching a digital retail arm. My dad goes down in a plane crash, and this is all within the first 10 minutes, by the way.
This is a spoiler.
He goes down in a plane crash.
In the series.
Yeah. And it comes out that he had 3 other children with 3 other women, and they are all heirs to the fortune. And so me and my sister are now in sort of a battle with these other 3 children that come into play, and all the baggage and craziness they have, and chaos ensues. Power, all the secrets of the family start to come out, things that I never knew about, but were sort of in the air, and it is just a ball of fun. The coolest thing about it too is that it's very much an ensemble piece. Kim Cattrall's obviously the star and the matriarch and the lead and the person we're going to follow, you know, the majority of the time, but they really made it feel like a play in a lot of ways, with a lot of really fun characters, with a lot of 3-dimensional characteristics. As soon as you start to feel like you've learned enough about someone to put them in a box, something comes out that, you know, changes your perspective of them. Like I'm sure you saw. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but
it's such a great cast too. And it's like it's Aaron Lazar, it's Aubrey.
Yeah,
like there's like so many cool people in it.
Rachel York, a lot of theater people. Great people. Great, just, you know, storied TV actors like Gerald McCraney and Kim and Steve Harris, just a lot of, like, you know, legends in a lot of ways who've been on have such great resumes, and it was a really, really welcoming set, with just, and the other thing is, you know, they did not tell us anything about the show until probably the night before we get our script for the next episode. And
really?
a lot of the first season plays like Clue, or like there is a lot of secrets and blood being shed in a lot of in proverbial ways, but in figurative ways, but also in literal ways. And we never knew, and we were constantly trying to figure out what was happening, who was doing what, and it is full of surprises at every angle. It's a blast. It really is.
This is your first like real TV role.
Yeah, first primetime series regular.
Yeah.
I've done.
What was that experience like? Just shooting like building a character and shooting, you know, 10, 12 episodes of a show.
Right. It was really, really fulfilling in a lot of ways. You know, when you're creating a character in a theater piece over the course of a few years, you have so much time to consider all the details, especially when you do out of town tryouts over the year. From like Bandstand, we did, you know, Paper Mill Playhouse, and then we did a few readings, and then we came to Broadway. That was to almost 3 years, and you have so much time to marinate and do research and work on the flow of the show, and you have input with, you know, even keys of songs and things like that. But with this, it's just a much faster pace. And so you have to bring your A game to every single scene that you're in, every single episode that you're in. You have to know exactly where you're coming from and what you want in every moment, because there's just not as much time. So from a technical perspective, I learned a lot and was humbled a lot, because I couldn't be precious with the work. I like to be in control. I like to know exactly what I'm doing. I like to have, you know, within the circumstances, I'll play, but I like to have a very good idea of how I'm going to approach something. And the flip of a switch, the entire schedule would change for the day. And we're doing this scene from, you know, that's at the end of the episode that I hadn't even looked at. And it's bumped to today, and you got to be ready for that. And that's pretty normal for most TV shows. But getting to play Eric all the way through, I'm so excited for people to see it, because the arc that he has, you know, Eric is a very sensitive, you'll see very quickly, I'm a very sensitive person. It's sort of like a Lady Macbeth situation. I'm wrapped around my wife's finger. A lot of people, I'm very impressionable. A lot of people are trying to push Eric into doing things that he doesn't necessarily know if he wants to do. And he's coming to terms with who he is and what he believes in the whole first season. And it was really thrilling to play that from episode to episode.
Was it nice to be a member of an ensemble as opposed to like Bandstand, which you and Laura had to carry, and Newsies, which like obviously is the heavy role?
Yeah. No, they both have their merits, and they both have their, you know, their hard parts. The funny thing is, even with Bandstand and Newsies, the core of that show is, in a lot of ways, is the ensemble. Yes, I guess in terms of stage time and the speaking parts, you're gonna think about, you know, Jack, Kelly, or Donnie and Julia. But, you know, the Andy and Chris Catelli and Andy are two, you know, really, really special visionaries with how to use an ensemble and make them the core of a show. So I did enjoy from what you're saying in terms of like an actual ensemble, like in terms of a TV ensemble. I did enjoy that. It's one, it takes the pressure off of you. It's not like I'm sure Kim feels differently, but even with Kim, it's still spread out pretty well. I loved how they just spread the wealth around amongst all of us, and that comes down to Tate Taylor and Abe Sylvia, who ran the show and created it. They cast it so well, and they cast it, and I'm convinced casting is 95% of a director's job is casting it well, and they cast just the best actors for these parts, and everyone brought it when they needed to. Everyone got a chance. Everyone got a moment to show their skill, and they adapted everyone's skills. Like, I didn't have to sing for my audition for Filthy Rich, but I ended up singing in 4 or 5 episodes, and it becomes
because they knew.
Yeah. Abe Sylvia, who's one of our showrunners with Tate, he was a Broadway guy. He made his Broadway debut in Cats as a dancer. Jeff Calhoun actually gave him his first job. Jeff Calhoun directed Newsies, and so we bonded over that. And he knew I was a musical theater guy, and so they wrote it in after we started shooting the pilot. Like, hey, do you want to sing? And I was like, sure. And then it became a thing that we just did. And it's not like my character is an aspiring singer a la Nashville or something, or Glee or something like that. It's just an aspect of who he is. He just grew up in the church, and so, especially in the South, music and singing is just a part of that culture. And so they did that for a lot of people, like the Benj, who plays Antonio the boxer, one of the 3 illegitimate children. They really amped up the MMA aspect of his background. That's what he knows how to do, and so they cast it really well.
What that's awesome.
Yeah.
What was it like to shoot in New Orleans? Because you were shooting, like, it must have been so hot down there while you were shooting it.
Yeah, it was early on, because we started shooting a year ago.
Yeah.
We shot the second episode through the end a year ago, and the first 2-3 weeks it was super hot, and then it chilled out a bit. It never got below, it stayed in the 50s throughout the fall and the winter. But in general, New Orleans is just such a wonderful place. It is so full of, it thrives. I've said this before, but it thrives on hospitality. So obviously right now, I can't imagine how the city's, dealing with all of this. But, when we were there, the restaurant scene, the music scene, the food, the pride, the Saints, New Orleans Saints pride, all that stuff. They wear that right on their literally on the front of their shirts, but right on their sleeve at all times. And so being there, you feel like it's a very inviting group of people too. They love to be from there, and they will tell you it, and they will make it known that they're, Who Dat Nation and Saints Nation and New Orleans Nation, but they're also really welcoming to, outsiders coming in and introducing to all the insane amounts of fried food. Like everything down there, basically you just take, oh, you want a salad? Okay, we're just going to put a bunch of flour and oil on it and put it in a vat of batter and fry it. And then that's your salad. Like it's impossible to find a vegetable there most days. But
it's true. I was down there last Labor Day weekend, and it was my first time there. And it's amazing, but it's all fried food.
Oh yeah. You're gonna have heartburn like 3 days a week, basically.
Yeah. Was your family down there with you, or were they back up east? Oh, good.
Yep, my wife and kids came down. They're still young enough that it wasn't a big thing for them to come down. And my older one, we got him. He was in a preschool actually, and so yeah, we kind of assimilated in as much as we could into the vibe down there. I miss it. It was a great place. Everyone. Funnily enough, all of our friends and family wanted to come visit us for this job. Other jobs in the past, they haven't been so keen, but this one, everybody wanted to come. And it was,
New Orleans is like a destination. It's one of those places like, oh yeah, I'd always love to go to New Orleans.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd never been there before. And a lot of my friends hadn't been there before. So yeah, a lot of family came down, a lot of friends came down, and I feel like we really got to learn the city pretty well. There's so much to do there. Even with kids, it's actually a really family-friendly city too. Yeah. So with little kids, their zoo is unbelievable. Their children's museum is unbelievable. So we were never lacking for something to do.
One of my favorite restaurants is down there.
What's it called?
Dookie Chase's. Do you know Dookie? Have you been there?
No.
It's a historic restaurant. It's like one of the sites of like the civil rights organization down there.
Okay, gotcha.
Next time you're down there, you got to go there. It's amazing.
Okay, sure. Oh, that's the other thing, the history. I mean, going past, we did one of the bus hop on, hop off bus tours earlier, just because I like to do those in places I go. And we drove past, where Louis Armstrong, the first place where Louis Armstrong was discovered. And I mean, the birth of jazz, it's in a lot of ways, the birth of jazz was there. The music scene, Preservation Hall, all that. The history is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The World War II Museum. I mean, the World War II Museum, I went a couple times because we lived only about 2 blocks from there. Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, if you want a real, just probably the best museum I've ever been to. It's unbelievable.
Next time.
Yeah.
More reason to go down again.
What's that?
It's more reason to go down again.
Exactly. Season 2. We gotta go back down.
Yeah. How many episodes is the first season total?
10 episodes. Yep.
Are you planning to? Are you the kind of person like? Did you watch Bandstand, the film with Bandstand? Like,
I did. I did. Just because it was, we shot it and then we closed, and then I think a year and a half later, maybe it was. I can't remember if it was a year. It was like either a year and a half. It came out, and we did this big screening, and
right.
And I just, were you gonna ask? Am I weird about watching myself?
Yeah.
Not really. While we were shooting Filthy Rich, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I kind of just want to let it be what it is, but I get too curious. And of course I'm judging and criticizing myself the whole time, as all actors do. But I'm not at the point where if I watch myself, like I get in my head and I can't, execute the things that I don't like. I actually find it to be a good learning experience to watch myself and correct all the things that I hate.
Are you excited? You'd be so excited though.
Yeah, I'm really, and I like to support all my friends on it too. Everyone on the show is so good, and I wouldn't want to miss their performances and the work of our directors and our crew just because I don't want to see myself. So but I'm excited. I think this show offers a beautiful, fun escape from the craziness of life right now, and also, I think it has some really beautiful messages in it, in an attempt to bring people together, an idea of like, there's this other person that I don't agree with and I don't understand, yet I'm going to make an effort to try to understand them so that we can be unified in a common cause. Like those things are buried in there underneath the the craziness of the soap world of what it is. But at the end of the day, it's just a big ball of fun, and I hope people really give it a chance and just take it for what it's worth, and and just try to have fun with it.
Is Kim Cattrall cool?
Yes. So I got the call from Tate, our director and writer. I was in the airport. I just gotten a call, or I auditioned the day before. He called me and just said, "Hey, you're our guy." He basically said, "You got it." And I was like, so pumped. I was in LAX, and I was like, "Can you tell me who's gonna play Margaret?" Because obviously that was the main role. Yeah. And he said, "Well, it's looking like Kim Cattrall right now." And I was like, "What? That is..." Because I've never watched Sex and the City. I mean, now I haven't watched all of it. I've now dabbled into it. It's just on all the time, and two, it's like my mom's, Samantha, and but my wife is a huge Sex and the City fan. Has always watched, and we'd always joked about it because she's always like, "You gotta watch it, you gotta watch it." And living in New York too, I just never had done it, but I immediately called my wife and told her, and she flipped out. And but yeah, then once we got, there's those first moments of being nervous because it's the star, and she's a star, and she's an icon, a TV icon. And so it took a minute for me to be like, cool myself down and just chill out and act with her. But once we got through once I got over the weirdness, she's a blast. She's awesome, and she's really dedicated. So dedicated, and a true professional. I mean, obviously she is, but really professional, and just much more. She's much more. She has much more variety in her skills, I think, than most people would know. I think she's very versatile and who she is as an artist, and it shows in the show really well. Yeah. She carries it so well. My wife is a huge Sex and the City fan too. So. Oh yeah. I totally. I missed the boat a little bit, but my wife makes up for it. So yeah. Filthy Rich premieres tonight, everybody. Check your local listings. It's on Fox. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks, David. Appreciate it, man. Congratulations. It's Thank you. Well deserved. Thanks so much. Be well, and thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, guys. Bye.